Day YouTube. It is the 18th of January 2025. I just got back from a little 80-mile round trip to pick up a generator. Took the Honda this morning because I didn't have to get on the freeway to get to where this is. Freezing fog this morning. It was 26 degrees when I got up. This is the generator I went after. It's no secret that I love generators. I love specifically Honda generators. And when I was working, way back when I started with a electrical contractor, and we had generators that were big, bulky, heavy Dayton, Briggs and Stratton flatheads. This is what was out there in the 70s. For generators. So somewhere around the early 80s, the company bought its first Honda. I think it was a 2,000 watt version of this. This is a 1,400 watt version of this. But when those generators came out, I consider them to be gold. Those old generators that we had were troublesome, extremely heavy, obnoxiously loud, rattled, whatever. But I mean, they produce power enough. I mean, an electrical contractor gets to, a smaller job site or something to put power there. So there's nothing there when we get there. We're the first ones there and the last ones to leave, typically. So having these generators were just amazing, I thought. I really thought a lot of them, and I still do. These things are still a valued tool, even though they're now 40 years old. So I had an opportunity to grab this one. We're going to do another video on it, so I won't go into details, but I now am looking for an excuse to keep it. I have 15 generators currently, well, 16 now, and I know I can get this thing to run. And it's going to be great, and I think it's cute. I think it's in good condition. We can kind of repaint part of this and clean up this and that, and we can make this thing pretty nice. Now, what would I do with it? At some point I gotta quit collecting them, but dang it, I want to keep it. So I've often thought, so I have a Foed Superduty 7.3 liter diesel pickup, and I've had that truck long enough that when we owned a cabin on 20 acres east of Bend, Oregon, I'd go up there with the Super Duty and do work on the cabin, or we'd stay or whatever. But we were off grid. We didn't have power up there, and it got cold. It got way colder than 26, and getting that truck started to leave in the morning was tough. And I had a bigger generator up, but I think it was 3,000 watt. So 2 or 3 hours before I was ready to leave, I'd fire it up and warm up the engine enough to get it started. And it was necessary. And I have EU 2000 Honda generators, and that'd be fine. I could take one of those, and that would probably run the block heater. And I say probably. I really haven't found any information or video on YouTube that says exactly what the block heater requires for power. My question is this generator rated at 1,200 watts big enough to run the block heater on the truck? You say, Glenn, just take an EU 2000 with you. Well, I could, absolutely. But EU 2000 is pretty tempting for a thief. Something like this, not so tempting. And this one's, kind of easy to padlock if I had, say, an empty bed or other things. Could I take this? The question is, could I take this to justify keeping this? So, the question is, how many watts is the block heater on a Super Duty? Well, we're about to find out, because right before I fired up the camera, I ran a cord over to it. It has not been plugged in all night. I just plugged it in, and I put my kilowatt on it so that I could find out what a 1,200 watt generator run my block heater. Well, here we go. What do you think? Here's the kilowatt. What do you think? 926 watts. What happened? Watt. What happened? Hang on. Alright, I know it's up. It's the plug down there that's been hanging at the bumper. I need to clean up the terminals on it a little bit. 937 watts. Let's call it 940 watts. Will 940 watts be operated by a 1200 watt generator? Heck yeah, it will. You know how excited I am? I now have an excuse to keep that generator. So I normally have my truck camper, 9.5 foot Lance camper, on my truck. So if I was going to go camping in the snow and so forth, I could nicely strap that generator to this rack that goes into the receiver hitch, which I'm going to make an extension for with a step to get in and out of the camper. And anyway, so this is the stuff I had in mind. I'd have grabbed this generator anyway for the money, but the question was all the way home this morning was, what excuse can I come up with it to keep it? And I don't have to justify it to anybody but myself, I guess. So that's it. I can operate my block heater with this 1200 watt Honda generator, and I'm happy about that. Guys, thanks for watching the video. Please give it a thumbs up on the way out. Check out another video while you're on my channel. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys on the next video.